Hello, friends of Olli. This is Michael Beeler, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about the new course I'll be teaching for Olli in February. I spent almost 25 years teaching at Montana State University, and in that time, my research and teaching interests were primarily in modern poetry, continental philosophy, and contemporary literary theory. Since retiring, I've taught a number of classes for Olli, all of which have focused in some part on poetry, beginning with a course in a survey of American literature, continuing with a course in the poetry of trauma, and moving on to particular poets like T.S. Eliot, Wallace Stevens, and most recently, Bob Dylan. In this course, I'd like us all to focus on the works of Leonard Cohen. Cohen, of course, was a very well-known and respected poet before he became the singer-songwriter that we're all familiar with. In this course, we're going to focus on three particular passions that seem to work through Cohen's work. First, a passion for sex and sexuality. Second, and related to the first, a passion for spirituality and for the divine other, often connected with sex and sexuality. And the third passion is the passion for words themselves, for the power of the word and the power of poetry. So I've titled this course, The Prophetic Passions of Leonard Cohen. It will begin in February. I hope you'll come along for the ride, and I hope to see you then. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Carrie Cargill. I'm offering an Olli course on microbiology this spring, where I'll be talking about beneficial and not so beneficial microorganisms with real life applications. I teach microbiology in the Department of Microbiology and Cell Biology here at Montana State University, where I've been for nearly 40 years, still having fun, still really enjoy teaching. For the course, I have decided, because it's a really big topic, I've decided to break it into some different topics each week. So we'll talk about things that you've likely have heard and maybe wondered about: microbiomes and probiotics and what they can and cannot do. We'll talk about ways of controlling microorganisms through disinfectants and antibiotics, and how drug resistance develops, along with some diseases such as C. diff and MRSA that are really in the news and really of concern today. And then we'll wrap up by talking about the role that microbes play in different environments on this planet, where they are the fundamental basis of life. In addition, because students always tell me lab's the fun part, and I do agree with them, I was trying to think of how can I make this invisible world visible to you without using microscopes. And so each week we'll have some lab components. Sometimes we'll do that in class, and sometimes I'll give you something you can take home with you. So for example, I'll give you some little baby Petri plates that you can go prospecting for different microbes on different surfaces. One week I'll ask you to bring in maybe your favorite cleaning products, and we'll see how well they work against different bacteria. And what else? Oh, have you ever seen DNA with your own eyes? We'll do that. We'll pull DNA out of strawberry and take a look at that. And then finally, I'll send you home with a little flask that has some Yellowstone river water in it and some nutrients, and you'll be able to have your very own little terrarium or microbial zoo where you'll be able to watch it develop over time, and you'll be able to keep that with you indefinitely. It should be a lot of fun, and I really do hope that you will join us.
Do you love to sing or play an instrument, but wish you could read and understand music notation better?
In this multi-level intergenerational class, we will learn rhythm notation, clap rhythms, and learn piano keyboard basics. It's a fun, very hands-on, time-tested workshop using an innovative curriculum called Chaffee Core Musicianship Project.
Hi, I'm Clark Chaffee. I created a music program to help people like you master the fundamentals of music knowledge.
And I'm Lori Rosalowski, and Clark and I are co-teaching this class right here at MSU in the keyboard lab of Howard Hall. MSU music students will assist, so you'll have lots of guidance.
Learn to read and practice all of the common rhythms patterns that you might ever see.
Learn simple and powerful ways to understand and navigate the piano keyboard and take the fear out of playing black notes.
Learn simple tricks to read notes in all clefs, so for all voices and all instruments.
And most important, you'll leave with solid tools towards independent musicianship.
After the sessions are over, I'll be happy to work with you one-on-one to meet your own musical goals for free.
So join us for one or both days. We look forward to having you.
Hi, I'm Toby Day, and I'm an avid gardener here in Gallatin County and have been my whole entire life. I went to school at Montana State University. I was really excited about getting a degree in horticulture. After that, I got a degree in plant sciences and been working in extension for many years as extension agent in Silver Bow County, and then again as the extension horticulture specialist at Montana State University, where I taught the Master Gardener classes to many people across the state. Why I'm excited about teaching this class? I'm excited because of these things. First of all, soil. It's not dirt. It is soil because there's a whole lot going on inside here. Billions of organisms, compost, the different soil particle sizes, which determines how you do just about anything in a garden, whether it's flower garden, vegetable garden, you're growing small fruit, tree fruit, shrubs, doesn't matter. You need to know about your soil. And so we're going to talk a lot about soil. We're also going to talk about vegetable gardening. I went out to the garden just recently, pulled out some of the things that I still have growing here in the middle of November, such as this carrot. Yeah, look at that one. And how about that beet? I'm pretty excited about vegetable gardening. Here's another little relic, my spaghetti squash that I love so much. So one of the things that I hope we can do is have some fun, answer some questions, dispel some of those myths that we hear out there. And what I think you'll understand is if you've been a gardener or you want to be a gardener, is that I kind of do things a little bit different. A lot of things that you read may not pertain to what goes on here in the Gallatin Valley. So I'm excited to talk to you, to hopefully teach you a little bit about gardening and also to learn from you as we go through this process. Hope to see you in class. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Bruce Corley. In February, I will be teaching a course titled Weighing the Scales of Freedom, Communities in Conflict. The United States of America was founded upon tensions inherent within concepts of freedom. On the one hand was traditional freedom, defined as the tangible security and property rights of the privileged. On the other hand, a then emerging aspirational freedom was grounded upon the inalienable rights of all men as equals. History has borne witness to these tensions. Some historical currents have flown toward a more perfect union that could balance the scales toward inclusive freedom. But just as easily, the scales have been weighed down by the continuing power of traditional exclusive freedom. Libertarian David French, well-known political commentator and former attorney, has recently argued that libertinism, the belief that freedom allows one to do what one wants without any concern for others' freedom, is now principally at fault in tipping the scales away from democracy and away from equitable freedom for the many toward authoritarianism and toward freedom for the dominant few. So, where to now? In big cities and small towns, in civic institutions and houses of worship, in commercial spaces and public places? How do we learn from the past and move toward a future freedom that unites rather than divides? A freedom that holistically balances our communities rather than weighing them down in benefit of the few. I invite you to join me in February as we weigh the scales of freedom.
My name is Sarah Mackey, and I'll be teaching an overview of modern art as part of the Olli series in Bozeman this spring. Together we'll explore art that emerged between the 1860s and 1960s in the Americas and Europe that challenged the definition of what art could be while responding to the events during this time and space. Events including industrialization, globalization, and 2 world wars will be notable topics, as well as social realities that determined which artists were celebrated and why. It's my goal for this course to not only introduce the numerous art periods ranging from Impressionism to Minimalism, but how this period has shaped the art world that we know today. After this course, you should be able to better understand art from this era, but also have a stronger ability to look carefully at a work of art and learn more about the perspective from which it was created. Learning more about art allows us to learn more about ourselves and our collective past. This course will be offered 5 Thursdays, starting April 18th and running through May 23rd, from 3 to 5 p.m. at Hope Lutheran Church. I look forward to our time together.
Hello, this is Stephen Maley. I'm excited to be leading another original course at Olli this coming spring. It's called Our Constitutions, Federal, State, and a few others to boot. I'll begin here with a disclaimer that I'm not an attorney and I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I've worked with both, and I have direct experience with our constitutions, and as well as several abroad, working as a journalist, a bill drafter, and a public affairs television producer. Constitutions are obviously quite important to us. We need to understand their origins and evolution and the status of both our state and federal constitutions now. We need to have a good sense of how they interrelate, interconnect, and how they are distanced from each other in certain important ways. This will be primarily a lecture and discussion course. There will be some PowerPoints. I promise not to show too many images of documents and monuments and government buildings. Lots of things are going to be going on around us next spring. We'll be in an election year. There'll be primary elections occurring. There will be some fresh court cases settled at the state and federal Supreme Court. And, it'll be it's a timely subject now, and it'll be even more timely when we get together next spring. We're also going to take a look at the constitutions of several of our friends and allies, like Canada, Britain, which has no written constitution, Israel, which also does not have a written constitution, and of course we'll need to take a shallow dive into the constitution of our principal adversary in the world, the People's Republic of China. So this is going to be fun and interesting. We'll all come away having learned something new and with a deeper appreciation and respect for the ways our constitutions shape our civic life together. See you then.
Hello, my name is Jamie Novak, and if you have some treasures hiding around your home in the attic, basement, garage, back room, or a closet, please join me for my program through Olli MSU Attic Treasures. How to easily declutter your home. This is a 4-part program. It's all happening online. So from the comfort of your home, you can show me what you have. I can help you to figure out how to easily appraise it at no charge. We can figure out what you have, what you might want to do with it, especially if you're sentimentally attached to it. I have some very easy strategies to help you figure out items you've inherited, maybe items children left behind when they moved out, and all your souvenirs and treasures that you've collected for a lifetime. I can't wait to join you for this very lighthearted and action-packed information program where we'll do some of the decluttering during our session. It's 4 sessions starting January 25th. It's all online, Thursdays from 10 to 12 noon. I hope you'll join me. My name is Jamie Novak, and I'm presenting Attic Treasures. I'll see you then.
Hello, my name is Asa Carolside, and I invite you to my new course called Experiencing Russia Through Film. In this class, we'll explore how interpersonal relationships, friendships, parenthood, love are all affected by the circumstances of life in the Soviet Union and post-Soviet Russia. Each week, we'll watch a different film, including films that have been nominated for the Oscars or winners of Cannes Film Festival and other films. Some short films and some animated films as well will be included. I will be giving you links to watch the film on your own on YouTube with English subtitles, of course. And then each class session will be a combination of lecture and discussion, so we can share our feelings and thoughts and ideas about the films. We're gonna learn together how to not only understand the stories, but also how to interpret the visual language. We'll become familiar with different directors, and we'll also travel through time because films that are included in this course start from 1930s and go through the last decade, so the most recent decade. So we'll have quite a wide range of different eras, different directors, different stories, different approaches to the same time period, all of this through the lens of Russian cinema. Check out your catalog, and I hope to see you in the class. Bye.
Do you feel like you have a hard time keeping up with LGBTQ issues and jargon? Maybe you don't even know what LGBTQ stands for. Have you ever been confused about what you should call someone, if you should call them sir or ma'am or maybe something else? Well, we have the class for you. In our Everyday Allies training, we'll cover pronoun basics, including a history of pronouns, why everyone's asking for them, and why it matters, as well as talking about the difference between gender identity, sex assigned at birth, and sexual orientation. We'll also cover information like why people are trying to ban books, and does the state of Montana really consider Dolly Parton and Garth Brooks to be drag performers? That answer and more might surprise you. All of this will come from experts on LGBTQ issues in the state of Montana, and will include personal stories, easy to remember definitions, group discussions, and activities. And we'd like to think a fair amount of fun and humor. So please join us for our Everyday Allies training.
Hi there, my name is Megan Torgerson, and I'm the founder and producer of the documentary podcast series Reframing Rural, which shares stories from rural, agricultural, and tribal communities around the West and Heartland. Reframing Rural's mission is to cultivate curiosity and conversation across geographic, class, and cultural divides. I founded the podcast in 2019 as a graduate student at Seattle University. This was during a time I felt frustrated by not only limited portrayals of rural people and places in the media, but a widespread ignorance around class and the work of production agriculture. I grew up on a dryland wheat farm and cow-calf operation near Dagmar, Montana, which is about 5 miles from North Dakota and 50 miles from Saskatchewan. My family has been farming and ranching in the region for over 100 years, and while I feel lucky to be part of that lineage now, growing up I thought that everything interesting that happened in the world happened outside of Northeast Montana. My educational experience has since taught me that my early belief system was influenced by a lack of rural representations in the media that is driven by urban normativity, or the urban-based view of society that equates urban with what is normal and rural with what is abnormal, unimportant, or culturally deviant. It took me a decade and several moves around the country and abroad to discover the beauty of my rural home and the breadth of stories that resided on the prairie where I was raised. As a result of this rediscovery process, I published my graduate thesis, Rewriting the Narrative on Rural America Through Oral Storytelling, my podcast, Reframing Rural, a short documentary film I'm currently co-producing, and have engaged in consulting work for rural-facing nonprofits like the Red Ants Pants Foundation to better understand the needs of rural and agricultural communities in Montana. I have long wanted to share my knowledge about rural narratives through a course on rural representations in the media that engages concepts from rural sociology, embodied rural knowledge, and excerpts from film, audio, and other media. The first half of my course, Reframing Rural Representations in the Media and Rural Issues in the West, will begin by defining dominant rural narratives such as the rural idyllic or pastoral versus rural illicit or deviant. We'll examine the pervasiveness of urban normativity, the connection between rural stereotypes and resource extraction, as well as the danger of a single story about rural spaces. Then we will move from harmful rural narratives to the current movement of rural-raised and rural-based creators who are telling a different, a more complex story about rural America. The second half of this course will then move into current rural issues in the West, including rural gentrification, class divides, and cultural extraction, the impact of big ag on small family farms and ranches, the aging farmer and rancher population, and the need for succession planning, along with the organic and regenerative movement in ag, food sovereignty in tribal communities, and agriculture as a climate solution. I hope you consider taking my course starting Wednesday, January 24th at 2 p.m. Thank you so much, and I hope to meet you soon.